So, today I will talk about one rune stone which is called the beacon or the torch, and the name is Kenaz. So, I will be talking about this rune stone, and first I will tell you what this rune stone means and why the symbol is the way it is drawn, and then I will tell you what it means if it shows up in the reverse, what would be the meaning. And I also discuss one case in Delhi where I think a boy, Piyush, got hit and run, and then he died because no help reached him in time. And then I will talk about the section of many experiences and how the torch is working or not working. So, the first is, when you look at this symbol, and if you were to look at a torch, it symbolizes that light. And very clearly, if someone has a torch in the hand, they're looking for something, they're working for something they want, or they're really working hard to find what they want. So the very clearly, when you see this rune stone is, it's just saying that someone is working for their goals or what they want in life. So you're working your future. Also, this means you're on a quest to search and get whatever is your list or desire. Now, this is one part. The other part is, let's say you're stranded somewhere, maybe in a forest, maybe some place where you're not able to get some commute, or you're just stranded, you could be stranded anywhere. When this runestone shows up, it's saying that help will reach you. Somebody will come looking for you, because this runestone is a torch, which means somebody carrying a torch will come looking for you, or help will reach you. So if someone says, I'm in a difficult situation, what should I do to overcome this difficult situation, or how will my situation go away, bad situation go away? The answer is, if you get this rune stone, the answer is the help will reach you. Someone is trying to reach you, is looking for you, and help will be available. So it's a very simple rune stone to understand. It's just saying that one, a person is working for whatever he or she wants, and second is, anybody who's stuck or is in a difficult situation will be able to get help, because there's someone coming with the torch, and will find them. There was this report few days back where this boy, he must be in his 20s, or maybe 19 or 20-year-old, and he was driving on his bike, riding his bike, and from behind he got hit by another bike, and he falls over, and for good 30 minutes he was just lying on the road, being hit and run case. Nobody came to help. And what is even more sad is, someone even stole his mobile phone and his wallet. Very clearly, the help did not reach him, because after 2 3 days he died. So he was eventually, someone did take him to the hospital, but it was late. And after 2 3 days, he died. So, one is the help never reached him, and second is, you know, how insensitive is the society to steal his phone and a wallet, when he's got hit and run and he's lying there, and people have no empathy or sadness about the situation. Now, this is how sad it gets. Now, I will tell you one incident. Once I was traveling and I was staying at this place, and in the morning, early morning, maybe around 7, that early, I saw one man who looked like someone who is a lorry driver, or who does a lot of moving luggage, these parcels around, like maybe vegetables or boxes around. So he looked very unkept, and he looked like a street hustler, and he walked in with one man who I remember seeing a day before in the place where I was staying. So it was a very, very budgeted place. I just saw these two men, and then as they entered this accommodation, the manager of the accommodation behind the reception told this street hustler, okay, thank you, आप इनको यहाँ ले आए, something, and that's more or less about it. And as soon as that manager said thank you, you got this man here who was disoriented. So this street hustler says, भैया आप तो थैंक यू बोल के ही बात खत्म कर दी आपने, आपका आदमी गुम हो गया, मैं उसको रात अभी सुबह 5 बजे से मैं उसको लेके घूम रहा हूँ, और अभी आपकी ये जगह मिली है, और आप कभी पैसा नहीं देते, कभी खाना नहीं देते, कभी चाय नहीं देते. So the street hustler is saying that, this man was lost, and since 5 in the morning today, I've been roaming around with him with the description of the building or where, the accommodation is. And he said, despite me roaming around 2 hours on the street with this disoriented man who couldn't remember the address, you are not giving me tea, you are not giving me any breakfast, you're not giving me any money, you're just telling one thank you, and that's it. He said, I have brought in earlier also people who have got lost or can't find your address, and you never give anything. So the manager just, did this because he's also a very young boy who's handling the reception behind. And, there is no policy of that accommodation to give any money to the street hustler. And he himself can't really give money, right? But the street hustler is also right, because he says that your guest got disoriented or lost the address, and I've got him here, and you don't give anything, and he had gotten some guests before also. At this point, I wanted to right away take out 100 rupees and give it to the street hustler, that keep it. Thank you for, helping this man find his accommodation or bringing him back to this place. But for a lot of reasons I didn't, because what happens is then he starts expecting 100 rupees when I'm the guest from the manager, and then the fight would just get even ugly. So I didn't want to interfere there, but I wanted to give the money to that man. So what had happened was, so I asked this man who was disoriented, I said, I saw you here yesterday. So what happened? That how did you lose address, and how, where were you that 5 o'clock this street hustler found you and brings you here. Where were you? And he was a completely a vernacular medium guy or a person, and from a low income group. You know, nothing wrong with that, but it's just that he didn't speak any English and he was speaking all Hindi and local language. So he says, कल आने के बाद मैं थोड़ा घूमने चले गया और मैंने एक हॉस्टल का दिस अकोमोडेशन का एड्रेस लिख लिया. And then he did not know how to use the GPS. He just had the name of the accommodation and that's it. And he did not know how to put it on the map because his phone was not supportive of one the maps. And he just thought somehow this place would be very popular and people locals would know. So I said, then what did you do? So day before, this man checked into this place and then went out just to take a stroll or walk around, and just took down the name of the accommodation, the building name or something, and that's it. And he said after roaming around the streets and just checking out the places, he said, I started asking people, how do I find this building? And nobody had a clue. Obviously, nobody just knows a building, right? You need to have a street name, you need to have some landmark. But he didn't take the address. And he said, I kept searching till 11 in the night, till 1 in the night, and I couldn't find the address. And I was at this point getting very horrified. I said, then what did you do? He said, I slept on the pavement. The street pavement where these slum dwellers or just encroachers sleep. He went and slept with them. And I said, then? He said, nothing. At 5 o'clock or 4 o'clock, I was feeling very cold. And that's how I woke up. And I again started roaming around on the streets asking people for this building. He said, and luckily I found this man. And for 2 hours we were just roaming around. And finally, at 7 we are here. Did the help reach this person? Yes, it did. Somebody had the torch on and was able to find him and bring him back to the proper accommodation. But what is the government giving as a compensation or a reward for bringing lost people back home? Is there enough integrity in people that if the government starts to announce a reward or give very huge compensation, do people have enough integrity to not lie about it? Because every second person will say, yeah, he got lost, she got lost, and I brought him back just to take the compensation. One, you need to do away with poverty so that people don't play around with this compensation or reward and it's taken only by genuine reasons. Second, the society should compensate or give generously to a good behavior, which it doesn't. Why would anybody help that? I could see that street hustler was so upset and angry, but in a very polite way, where he said, आप लोग मुझे चाय भी नहीं देते, नाश्ता भी नहीं देते. He was very poor. He was just wearing his shorts and one t-shirt, and it looked like he had not washed it for like days or maybe weeks. And he said, आप चाय नहीं देते. He was telling this to the manager when he brought back this man who was lost. He said, आप लोग कभी चाय नहीं देते, नाश्ता नहीं देते, कुछ पैसा भी नहीं देते. And that time I had said, just give him a cup of tea. And then the manager gave a cup of tea. That manager was also just a very young college going type kid, or maybe just early 20s. Are we encouraging people to help or do good in the society? No. And when that man was leaving, this person who was disoriented, he just asked me, he first asked the manager if he had 20 rupees. Manager said no, he didn't have any change. Then he looked at me and he said, do you have 20 rupees? I said yes. I said, what do you need it for? And he didn't answer. I gave the 20 and he gave that to the street hustler. And till date I feel 20 was not what you gave. At least you should have given 100. I would have given 100. I wished he had just given me the reason why he was asking 20. I had no clue what he was wanting the 20 for. That was that man's reward for bringing this person back to the accommodation. With so much evil in this world, he could very well have not helped him out. So the torch or the beacon will work or stay working or be lighting and sending out that signal of help only if you reward people or you bring in enough culture that we should help, or you should have time to go help people. So the news anchor says the disgusting DNA of Delhi. There's nothing disgusting DNA of Delhi. You have to mold the society. The administrator should mold the society, that I want the society to go in this direction where people help a person who's had an accident. People stop when they do an accident. If you don't give anything and instead you only get some into some problem or land up spending your personal money, with so much poverty nobody may want to help also. Because even if someone carries him in the auto to, let's say, to a hospital, and that's what happened, someone carried him to a hospital, that hospital said we can't treat him, this Piyush guy, man who died, and then this person took him to another hospital. Imagine, he's spending his personal money. What if he couldn't afford it to drive around in an auto, for kilometers and kilometers on? You cannot have poor people in the society. This is what administrators should know. Then only your torch or the beacon will work, otherwise it will not. Now I will tell you some experiences. She says the news anchor, seemed like very, very surprised that nobody helped. I'm surprised that she's surprised that people didn't help. She should know it already, that nobody will help. I will give you some examples. My dad, once he was riding the scooter and he got hit. His scooter got hit from behind and he tripped and fell and he fractured his arm. And nobody came to help. The one who hit the scooter also did not stop. And my dad somehow got up, got his scooter back up, and then he went to the hospital. And then he had the fracture, diagnostics done, and then, whatever the treatment is. This news about Piyush became big only because it's seen on the camera. People are not talking about their experiences. The other time someone told me that he was driving on some bridge in his car and he said he hit a scooter in front of him, a bike rider in front of him. And I said with a lot of shock, I said, and? He said nothing, he just felt very badly. I said, you should have taken him to the hospital. He said, no. He said, you can't stop. He said, I kind of, then people will not leave you. He said, I just drove away. This is the society, and it's on a degenerate. No help will reach. There is no beacon working. And while I'm taking these examples, I'll tell you one more example of me. I used to work with one bank. Narayan Murthy says everybody should work for 12 hours. I used to work 9 hours. Thankfully, there are people still working 9 hours. The minute you make it 12 hours working day, you will literally see people dead on the streets and nobody is picking them up also. Right now, they're just hitting and going, and someone is still picking them up after half an hour. Or they are able to get back up and go somewhere. After 12 hours stretch, you would have damaged the society even more. You should go and tell this to Narayan Murthy before he starts making these garbage comments. So I used to work for 9 hours, and I think I should tell you the name of the bank. So I was working with ICICI Bank then. And I got home at 7:30. Having started work at 9:30 in the morning, I got home at 7:30. And I don't idle away at work. When I'm at work, I was truly at work. So I am dead exhausted, and it was 9:30 in the night. And I had more than 27, 28 missed calls on my phone. And I knew something has happened. And we had one, training program where these new joinees were staying at one hotel. And we had a lot of programs running simultaneously. And I immediately guessed that there's something that has happened with the new joinee group. If you check my spiritual titles, I have enlightenment across religions. That's how much spirituality I have and how my conduct is. Despite who I am, that day I did not answer the call. You know why? I made a very simple calculation. If I answer the call, I will need to be at that place with whatever may have happened to the new joinee. And at 9:30, if I were to leave from my house to get to wherever they were, I would easily only reach at 11. And that 1.5 hour, crucial 1.5 hour would just go them waiting for me. And I'm no doctor, and I did not know clinics around me. But I would have taken on the burden of blame on me that we had told her that this is what happened at 9:30 or whatever time, and then nothing happened. In India or wherever, scapegoating is so easy that let's scapegoat him, scapegoat her, that if you got the call, why didn't you do anything? I was not equipped. No HR had given me any extra money or a card to spend should there be a certain expense. I did not have any extra cash on me that if there is an emergency I should go running to spend. I don't have any extra money on me. I had been given no training how to handle any emergency situation. So, I'm not going to go there and make a scapegoat out of me and take a blame of something happening on me. The easiest is I don't answer the call, which is what I did. In the morning, I saw those 28/7 calls had turned into another 5-6 more calls, and 31-32 calls in total I had got. So I called back on one number in the morning at office time, not before that. And I said, what happened? I had got a call at this time in the night. And very angrily, that participant said, Ma'am, we were trying to reach you. One of the new joinees had fallen sick and he had no money. And we wanted to go to the hospital. We didn't know which hospital to go to. I said, then what did you do? He said the hotel staff then took us to the nearest hospital and called the doctor. I said, and? He said, we all gave in some money, little money, and we pitched in and, we got him treated. I said, okay. I am part of that society who cannot help despite knowing that I should help. I'm not been equipped to help. I was not given any list of hospitals. I was not given any training how to handle any emergency situation. And you know what? This call should have never come to me in the first place. It should have gone to the HR who had organized the whole program. Very conveniently, HR never gave their number to the new joinees. People just pass the buck. And that day I said, whatever happens to the new joinee, let it happen. I am not going to get in, take this load on me that I was there and nothing happened. No. So it's very easy to say disgusting DNA. It's of the society. No, ma'am. The whole society is on a degenerate. And unless you control the population and the poverty levels and start guiding the society towards the good and start rewarding and compensating them, you won't find much of a beacon or help coming. And there may be so many more dying also. And then to add on to all the nonsense, you have Narayan Murthy and others saying work for 12 hours a day. The beacon for lifetime will just shut down. No help anywhere.